Hunger has real cost to individuals, families, and communities as a whole. People who are hungry can have increased health problems and are less productive as students in schools or as employees. For our community, food insecurity translates into social problems, healthcare costs, declines in school performance, and poor workplace productivity. In this edition of Community Voices, we'll hear about how Mesa County in Western Colorado is making food banks a lifeline through food insecurity.
So Mesa County is located on the western slope of Colorado. We have a lot of orchards in the valley, as well as other fruit and vegetable productions. The hard thing about Mesa County is that while the food is grown here, a lot of people don't actually have access to it, nor can they afford some of the food items that we currently have.
People have always valued nutritious food in food banks. Nobody likes to just give people sugary cereal and soda and stuff from a canned food drive. Like, we know that when people are in crisis or even dealing with chronic food insecurity, the first thing that happens is the nutritional quality of their food goes down, because that's the first thing you do. You go buy the cheaper, more affordable food.
And really, there's a big misconception for food pantry clients that they are not interested in nutrition or nutritious foods, when really it's out of their reach.
But the infrastructure of getting nutritious food in and storing nutritious food and getting it out can be a real barrier, because you don't have very long to move that nutritious food out. So it really required a change of model, in that we aren't just going to have one big food distribution for the month and everybody stocks up, and that lends itself to shelf-stable stuff that isn't very nutritious.
I think there's a lot of different factors that influence people's access to food. A lot of different socioeconomic dynamics. There's a lot of folks that aren't historically from here with agricultural roots, so they're kind of disconnected from our food supply. And in Western Colorado, like most of Colorado, our towns are growing pretty rapidly, with a lot of people moving in that may or may not know where to get this food or have the ability to purchase it.
Communities throughout the state are responding to food insecurity. Mesa County Partners developed a blueprint to address this need.
So we took a very system-wide approach to addressing food security and developed a plan called the Mesa County Blueprint to End Hunger that really took a systems-wide approach and took it from the perspective of dealing with social determinants of health. How can not only we make sure that we provide food that people need, but we're also wrapping more services around, because often when people are struggling with food insecurity, they're struggling with housing insecurity, they are not in a great place economically, they are maybe underemployed, people may be dealing with health issues. And so the idea of the blueprint and the initiative where we all came together to address food insecurity is not just increase the amount of food, but to make sure we're addressing all of the systemic problems as most that we can, to address the larger picture.
I think it's a really special program in the way that it addresses all areas of the food system. You know, it's really important to physically get food into people's hands, and that's a huge part of it, but we're also addressing the underlying factors of food insecurity, like if clients have self-efficacy with their culinary skills, or if they even know like what this squash is or what they can do with it. And Community Food Bank also has a motivation to address underlying issues through their resource manager, so connects them to other resources in the valley.
The Community Food Bank has a resource navigator on site, and it really takes building that trust and that relationship to be able to make a soft welcome to the resource navigator, like a soft handover, to say to people, hey, are you ready to take the possible next step of exploring SNAP benefits, or exploring WIC, or looking for some housing resources, or tapping into some mental health resources. And so that resource navigator is there to make a broader solution and not just have it be about food.
I think the reaction to this program has been overwhelmingly good. People are very excited to see us at the food bank, or our interns at the food bank. They're excited to see the food that we bring into them and are very, very grateful that someone in the community is caring about them enough to bring them healthy, fresh food.
I am chopping up apples for the tasting that I'll be doing at Community Food Bank tomorrow afternoon. So we source produce from whatever CFB has a lot of and create a tasting of it and share samples with clients so that they can get some new ideas of how to cook things, or maybe even try an unfamiliar ingredient that they've never had.
I'm a registered dietitian, so I help provide interventions that different food banks can do, whether that be small, like sign nudges on their shelves, or we can do formal nutrition education programs. We do tastings at the food banks, so anything to just convince them to pick up that food item or to try something new or to try to prepare it in a healthier way is where I come in.
So our community-based nutrition program, the idea there is that with the College of Agriculture and the Agriculture Experiment Station, we're giving tools to the community through our fresh fruits and vegetables. So we're training students in how to grow them, and then we give them to the community to meet larger initiatives of nutritional security and building people's agency and confidence in using fresh food, and just simply exposure. Repeated exposure to healthy foods is really important in changing behaviors and attitudes towards healthy food.
Well, our people truly appreciate the fresh produce that we get here. Fresh fruit is fresh fruit and vegetables, It means a great deal more than the stuff that's older, And for one thing, it's not such of an emergency to get it out the very same day we get it. And that sometimes is a problem, to disperse everything that we get. And of course this, we have a nice cooler, and so we have a little time advantage.
A key component of addressing food insecurity in Mesa County is a farm to food bank program driven by Colorado State University's Agricultural Experiment Station.
Our Farm to Food Bank program originated from our Ag Experiment Station because we had a very simple problem of we grow a lot of peaches and apples and cherries, and the purpose is for research, but we don't need all of that fruit for the research. That really started this idea, and then we thought, well, can we take this a step further? We haven't traditionally been a vegetable production facility, but could we use the land that we have to start providing some training opportunities for CSU students or post-secondary students from across the nation, and also students in our backyard in association with the Western Colorado Community College who need some hands-on training. Can we give those students training in small-scale vegetable production? And while they get that training, we are now diversifying the amount of fresh produce that's going out into the food system.
CSU is an incredible resource for us. Up until recently, they were one of our only partners bringing us fresh produce, and it's incredible what they do up at the research station on Orchard Mesa, growing for hunger relief, supporting not only us, but a number of other hunger relief agencies throughout the valley.
We started envisioning a program of bringing nutrition education to the food pantries and meeting people where they are, and with the goal that we are supporting people's nutritional needs at whatever stage they're at. We have amazing people here who have vast knowledge in horticulture and vegetable growing. It's really a way of marrying those two to give us the proper tools to actually back up what we do in the community.
So the work that we do here between the Ag Experiment Station and Extension bridges two different branches of the university. Then we use that and bridge a gap to the community by partnering with our local food bank and offering this education through them to their clientele.
So for a lot of people, food insecurity isn't a permanent situation. Our job as a system is to get people through that state as fast as we can, help people get through that state into a more stable situation. As a land-grant college, we have a mission not only to generate knowledge and train people, and we pride ourselves on training people of all ages, but we also have the mission to serve our community.
Our future goal for this program would be to take the program we've currently created at the Community Food Bank and to replicate it at other food banks around Mesa County so that we can increase food access to the community as a whole. Once again, taking that information, that science-based information, and putting it in simple concepts and actionable steps for food banks around our community is where I'd like to see it in 5 years. And I think we're getting there. We just have some final pieces to pull together.